going to walk you through MLA in-text citations. So if you go to our homepage here, and you look on the side, we have on the toolbar in-text citations and works cited. This is an invaluable link for constructing in-text citations and the works cited page. You see I have all these handouts here that go over in-text citations. There is a PowerPoint that you can look at integrating quotes, how to do it. You've written an insightful claim and found a great supporting quote. Now you need to integrate that quote into your writing. How should this be done? Common pitfalls. The loose balloon. You never want a quote to just stand on its own. That's when you have a sentence and then you just drop the quote, and you always want to lead into the quote. Quotes need to be held down with your own writing. If not, they are disconnected from your other ideas. And those are called the loose balloons. You see T.S. Eliot and his talent and the individual artist uses gender-specific language. You see there's a period and then the quote. You don't want that. Also in the quote, which I'm going to get to with some of these other handouts and videos, you either have the last name and the page number or just the last name. And you will have just the last name, particularly if you get something off the internet with no page number. You don't put a comma. You don't put anything else. A comma, that's in APA format. We're in MLA format, so there's no comma in here. Keep going. So those are examples of just dropped in quotes. You don't want to do that. How you fix that is you use signal phrases. And here we're going to learn the 4 methods to integrate your quotes. And a lot of times when I used to write papers in MLA format too, you're using the signal phrases in the present tense. I would use the same one over and over and over. Here's a sample of signal phrases you can use. Joe Smith comments, then you lead into the quote, etc., etc. These are some signal phrases. Method number 1, use an introductory or explanatory phrase separated from the quotation with a comma. Thoreau suggests the consequences of making ourselves slaves to progress when he says, you see how this is leading into the quote? You have the comma, and here's the quote from Civil Disobedience. We do not ride on the railroad, it rides upon us. In his examination of the values and rhythm of American life, Thoreau asks, you see, here's the lead-in. You don't want the quote to, you don't want it to be a loose balloon. You want to lead into each quote. And here are some examples and samples. Here's the lead-in, right? Method 2, make the quotation a part of your own sentence without any punctuation between your own words and the words you are quoting. Thoreau argues that, and you see how this leads right into the quote. So, and here are some more examples. And I'm not going to read all these slides verbatim. They're up here for you to look at and know. Very important though. Here is another handout from the University of Minnesota, integrating quotes, that I think is really helpful. That walk you through doing that, integrating quotes. And please, again, I'm not going to, you have the handout here. I'm not going to read it verbatim. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some examples in a moment. Here is a video on in-text citations.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now, wish me luck, Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application.
We're doing a meta moment. You're watching a video, which I'm not going to do. But please, this video, it shows you exactly what to do. And if you see on the side here, we have MLA citations from Scribbler and so on. That will walk you through in-text citations, another link. So here is another source with in-text citations that walk you through everything here. Let me pull up a sample just to kind of show you what we're doing. So here's my sample paper, MLA format here, and here again too is MLA format. Your name, my name, the class, the date, last name and page number, and you're gonna just start your paper. It's double space. I've been seeing papers where you don't start it down here. The whole paper is double space. So say I'm writing a paper on Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt. We have the introduction. Say the introduction ends down here. You end with your thesis, right? That's about how long your introduction should be. Here's the first body paragraph. You're doing the meal paragraphs. Remember, you should have hopefully looked at the meal guidelines, handouts, and videos. Jay-Z's voice comes into its own on this album. So this paragraph's going to be about Jay-Z's voice. And where's my so I looked at a review from Pitchfork. So here we go. According to Pitchfork, so let's see. Where are we? Back to our Word doc. According to Pitchfork, which is the journal, right? I'm leading into the quote. Journals go or magazines go. There, we would just paste the quote, match the format. He, that's indicating Jay-Z, right? He treated each syllable with a reverent love undetectable elsewhere in his work. And you would put the quotation marks there. And here's where you would put, so who wrote this article is Jason Green, right? So you would just have Green. And there's no page number online. So you would just put the last name and parentheses, period on the outside. And then you always want to follow up the quote with some analysis. What is this quote doing? What is this quote doing, saying? What is the quote illustrating? And how does it tie to your thesis? So that's what you would follow the quote with. And each body paragraph is going to be about a half a page as well. So that's how you would drop the in-text. That's how you would perform the in-text citation. You lead into it, you have the quote, and punctuation goes on the outside if it's a period. If the quote if it has another punctuation, exclamation point or question mark, that would go on the inside. Just the last name. If you use page numbers, if there's a book or a scholarly journal with page numbers, you would put the name 244. And that's it. There's no comma. There's nothing else. If there's no name, you would just put the first couple words of the article. A review of Reasonable Doubt. You would put the article. The trick is whatever is in your in-text citation, the reader should go to your works cited and point to that. And here's how you would do the works cited, which I'm going to make another video, a quick video on works cited. But that's basically all for in-text citations. If you have a quote that's 4 or more lines, so I'm just going to pull something from this here. If you have a quote that's 4 or more lines, right, a longer quote, which you don't want a lot of long quotes in short papers. Again, you would lead into the quote. Jay-Z's style is unmatched on this album. I don't know if this has anything to do with the quote, but you lead into the quote. And if it's more than 4 lines, you would double indent. It's called a block quote. You don't want a lot of block quotes in your in small papers. The punctuation would go on the inside, author's name on the outside, and this quote showcases, and you do the analysis then, right? Think of your body paragraphs as we've gone over earlier, following that meal guidelines, right? If you follow the meal guidelines, if you've seen that video or the handout, main idea, topic sentence, each paragraph will focus on one thing, right? Main idea, topic sentence, this will be 1 to 2 sentences. Evidence, now we're getting into, remember in the first paper you looked at, why is Joe my friend, and the evidence would be something that he was there for me. Here the evidence now is going to be the quote from outside source. So, and this could be 1 to 2 sentences. For my money, the most important part of the paragraph is the analysis of quote. What's it doing? How's it working? How is it illustrating your thesis statement? This could be 2 to 3 sentences. You see, this will get into the length of your paragraph here. And I don't care if you do the link. This is optional, but you can link back to thesis, tie it together, or transition to next paragraph. That's what you can do, Really, though, if you have 1 to 2 sentences, 1 to 2 sentences, 4, 5, 6, 7, think of it being 7 to 10 sentences, your paragraph. And that'll be about a half a page, maybe a little more, throughout your paper. I'm going to show you on Blackboard. I uploaded a couple of sample research papers. There's 3 here that do a pretty good job. Here's Eliana's research paper. And again, this is what your research paper should look like, or your paper. Double space throughout, your name, my name, the class, the date. And this is what your intro should look like. You see how the whole paper's double space. We got a really good thesis statement here. And we're moving through. So you see here's the quote. The process of this threatening the Amazonian ecosystem where a third regional is transpired. We have the colon, and that leads into the quote. Here's the quote. And there's no page number. This is online, so we just have the last name. Here's the quote, and so we have the main idea, and she uses a couple sentences to lead into the quote, which is fine. Similarly, we have the quote down. Here's a block quote, right? Her quote, this quote's 5 lines, so it's indented twice, and you can see how she quotes throughout, right? Another quote here, and so on through the paper. And here's what her works cited looks like. This is what your works cited should look like. The top is going to be works cited. It's in alphabetical order, names, and then the name of the article and where it comes from. If there are no names, well, I'm going to get into that when I make the works cited video. But here's a sample paper that has some in-text citations. And please, if you're confused with any of this, please email me, contact me, let me know if you have questions, comments, anything about in-text citations. But if you notice here under writing resources, here's the meal paragraph handout. And the meal for in-text citations, the main idea, the evidence is going to be the in-text citation, and then you analyze the citation. That's all that is. So that's just a really quick video on in-text citations. I'm going to make another quick one on works cited.